All right, guys, we're almost ready to transform that bedroom. You've made all of your calculations. You know what you're picking up when you go to the store. It's time to go shopping. So before you go to the store, it's probably important to know what you're going to get. In the last video, we figured out that we need 2 gallons of paint. I also did some shopping online and figured out that there's a little tabletop fountain that I'd like to buy for my bedroom. The water and the running water just really relaxes me when I'm doing my homework at night, and I'd really like to have that to go along with my room, and the colors match great, and so I'm going to pick up that item as well. So I need to know the prices that I'm getting into, before I arrive at the store or while I'm shopping. The gallons of paint that we're going to buy and the paint that I've chosen are selling for $34.98. So we need to buy 2 of those. And then we also picked out a little tabletop fountain that will match my new room, and that tabletop fountain is $9.92. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to figure out how much money we should plan to be spending when we go to the store to pick up these items. So again, $34.98, we're going to take care of that first. Let's buy our paint. So we need to buy 2 of those gallons. We're going to multiply. Remember, when you multiply with decimals, we're going to go ahead and treat this just like we would 3,498. We're going to ignore the decimal. We can address the decimal when we get done. We're going to line it up just like we would $3,498 times 2. Just like whole numbers, we do not need to push the 2 over and align the decimals because we're not adding and subtracting. So I'm going to use my traditional algorithm to multiply. 8 times 2 is 16, and I'm going to carry my 1. 18 and 1 is 19. Carry my 1. 8 and 1 is 9. And 3 and 2 is 6. So if it were $3,498 for a gallon of paint, now we're buying 2 of them, it would cost me $6,996. If paint were that expensive, I think we'd all be happy with just bare walls. But luckily, paint is not that expensive. It's actually 100 times less expensive. It's $34.98. We're going to divide that by 100. So in order to divide by 100, we need this number down here to be divided by 100. In order to divide by 100, we move the decimal back 2 spots to the left. Your teachers probably taught you that the number of decimal places in your 2 factors combined is going to equal the number of decimal places in your product. So if there are 2 decimal places in your 2 factors, you get tenths and hundredths. That's a whole number with no decimal places. Your answer must have 2 decimal places. So we know we're going to spend $69.96 on the paint. The tabletop fountain, on the other hand, is just a single item, no multiplication necessary, $9.92. I'm going to be happy with just 1 of those. So I need to find my total cost. $69.96 is how much I'm going to spend on the paint, and $9.92 is what I'm spending on the fountain. We're trying to find the total amount of money it's going to cost to buy these 2 items. So we are adding decimals now. Now the alignment and the stacking of the decimals is important because I want to put hundredths of a dollar or pennies with pennies. I want to put tenths of a dollar or dimes with dimes. I want to put those same size pieces together when I add, and if I would subtract, I would want the same thing. So I'm going to add my hundredths place first. 6 and 2 is 8. My tenths, 9 tenths and 9 tenths is 18 tenths. 10 of those tenths will make another dollar. We'll carry 1. We have 8 tenths left over. The decimal just comes on down. We don't need to move the decimal in or anything like that. We just need that decimal to show that this is the tenths and this is the hundredths place. In the ones place, 9 and 9 is 18 and 1 more is 19. Again, 10 of those ones are going to make a 10, and you've got 9 ones left over, and then 6 and 1 is 7. So we can expect to pay $79.88 when we go to the register. Now, you've all bought things before, and you've gone to the store, and you've probably picked out an item that was $19.99, and you walk up to the register, and when they tell you your total, it's always over $20, and you probably have wondered, why does that happen? The reason that happens is because of sales tax. Sales tax is a tax that we pay that allows the government to fund things like our hospitals, our roads, our schools, things like that. There are different taxes for different things. So sales tax is one of those taxes. We pay a 7% sales tax in the state of Indiana. So if you're shopping here in Indiana, expect to pay 7% extra of that value. What does 7% mean? Well, 7% is just a ratio. 7% is just saying that for every $100 you spend, that per cent, per means for every, and cent is 100. Like there are 100 cents in a dollar, a centipede has 100 legs, there are 100 years in a century. A cent is 100. So per cent means 7 for every 100. So you're going to expect to pay $7 of tax for every $100 you spend. We're not spending $100, but we're spending close to it. So my tax is going to be a little under $7. The way we figure out how much tax we're going to pay is to figure out what 7% of that value is. So we need to figure out 7% of $79.88. So how do we do that? We're going to go ahead and go to the next screen so we've got a little bit more room. 7% of $79.88. Remember, 7% is a ratio. It means 7 for every 100. If you want to multiply by fractions, you could, but that's not a fraction. It's a decimal. So instead of 7 for every 100, 7 over 100, 7/100ths, let's write it as a decimal. 7/100ths means 7/100ths as decimal form. We learned in class that when you hear the word of in multiplication, that you're taking part of something, and that requires us to multiply. So we need to do this, 7/100ths of 79 88/100. So we're going to stack this up. And we're just looking at 7,988 times 7 here. We're not worried about the decimal yet. We're going to multiply. And we get 55,916. Now remember, you're taking part, 7% of this value. The smallest thing you have here in $79.88 are hundredths, pennies. Well, you're taking part of those pennies, part of a part. So we're actually taking hundredths of hundredths. We're taking a penny and dividing it into 100 equal pieces. That's a 10,000th. We have 4 decimal places here. Because we're taking hundredths of hundredths, we need 10,000ths down here. That's 4 decimal places. We've got to move in 4 times. And that's our answer. Now it's money. We can't take hundredths of a penny. We don't have coins that small. You have to round now. We only deal in cents, which are hundredths. So we're past $5.59, and we're heading towards $5.60. Which one are we closer to? The thousandths place will tell you. If it's a 5 or higher, we're going to round up. Since it's not, our tax is going to be $5.59. That's going to then be added to the total cost of the 2 items, or the 3 items, since we had 2 gallons of paint. So we come over here and start with $79.88, the cost of our merchandise. Add to that the $5.59 tax, and then this is going to give you your total cost. So for the items I've purchased, I should expect when I go to the register to be charged $85.47. So now you've got your items, you've got your paint, you've got your fountain. It's time to go home and get your room exactly the way you want it. And you have the means to do so now that you've done all the math.